Good morning. Today, let me show you something first. All right, here's a video clip. This is when Robin and I went walking on a trail not too far from here near the Rainbow River in Dunnellon, and it's called the Pond Trail. And we went early in the morning, and that is key to this because I wanted to use one of the shots as a reference photo. Now, let me show you the actual shot I'm going to use. All right, there it is. Now, I'm going to show you the artwork that I did from that. All right, let's go back to me. Thank you. Now I'm going to show you the artwork. And you're going to say, well, that doesn't look like that. Well, it was a reference photo. But there's the painting I did. And I wanted to make sure Robin was in the painting. And so there she is. And you can see I added color. Maybe I went overboard with the color. I added flowers to it. Anyway, it was kind of a fun painting to do today. And thank you for watching. What if Robin's going to like that? that rendering of her. Oh well, let me show you how I did that right now. All right, let's get started. Robin is the focal point of this painting, and of course I'm not really trying to capture her likeness, just her essence. Does that make sense? I'm going to keep her rather small. Just rather small. Robin and I go hiking or walking. I'm not sure if I call it hiking or walking, but it is something that I especially like doing in the early morning. I especially like it in the morning. And not just because I get reference photos for these paintings, but it's just something beautiful about it. Just walk it out. This particular walk was a trail not too far from here. I'm going to say 11 miles. It's really amazing what is in your own backyard sometimes. So, yeah, we go, I say walking, hiking, whatever. It's in the woods. Well, you know, it's kind of like, what do you call it? It's not like some people actually go finding places on their own. Well, for me, it's mostly me. I just want it kind of to be laid out for me. I don't want to be like a pioneer. I don't want to be an explorer finding a new place. So I go to places that are already established as walking places. So, okay, let me just make sure I get Robin's. I want to make sure it has that look of one foot in front of the other, you know. Yeah, this place, I didn't even know this place existed. This is, I was very familiar with this whole area for many years. And when I say this area, I'm talking about the river that this is very near. It's called the Rainbow River. And this is a trail that goes around a pond that I didn't even know existed. The pond was new to me all these years. When I say all these years, what to better explain it, I moved to this area when I was really a kid. I was only 17. I still was very much living in my mind in New York. I hadn't yet kind of fully embraced everything about this area, and it's a beautiful area. But of course, I've learned to love it over the years. But anyway, one of the things I did love about it was the river. And the river is just a beautiful, clear river. One of the things people will say often about Florida is that we have a lot of alligators, right? And it's true, we do have a lot of alligators. But when we took this particular walk, we bumped into a lady who was a regular walker on this trail. And she told us that there was an alligator over by the park bench that we were getting near to. And, as an old man, I love park benches. I love finding a place to sit for a little while, I don't know if that really looks like Robin or not, but I'm not sure. I kind of gave her awkward looking feet there, didn't I? I don't really want it to be Robin. I just want it to be the essence of Robin. She is my subject in here. But anyway, she told us that there was an alligator over by the bench. And so, of course, I wanted to see it. Well, when we got there, it wasn't there. But we were on the lookout the whole way for alligators and snakes and anything else that might be harmful. Bears. There's a sign that says this is bear territory. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, well, we didn't see any. I'm so glad we didn't. There was a trail we walked on one time, and we did see a deer. I think I got the essence of Robin, or just a person walking there. Yeah, we saw a deer, which was very cool. We've seen armadillos, and we've seen... now I'm trying to get rid of some of the pencil marks, so when I paint it, it won't be all pencil-y. Well, we'll see how we like this. It's just going to be the essence of somebody walking. So, yeah, we see little animals. Of course, squirrels. Squirrels are everywhere. Squirrels are an amazing animal. They just show up everywhere. They're in New York City. They're here in the woods. I mean, they're everywhere. I would say that when I grew up in the suburb of New York where I grew up, I would say the squirrel was probably the only wild animal. Do you call a squirrel a wild animal? Probably the only wild animal I ever saw was a squirrel. Well, with the exception of birds, And birds are everywhere. The birds, oh my gosh. I have an app on my phone called Merlin. You got to try this app if you go hiking. Merlin, the app, it's free. I think it's free. I hope it's free. I didn't pay for it, but sometimes when I tell people that an app is free, and then they go to get it, they tell me, no, it wasn't free. So I don't know if sometimes they change them, like later on after they are tested or whatever. Do they sometimes charge people for them? I don't know. But anyway, it's called Merlin, and it'll identify birds by their sound, by their song. And I'm taking a long time just to get this little tiny piece in here. So the app is very cool because as we're walking down the trail, we can turn on the app and it'll tell us what we're hearing. We hear a lot of cardinals. We hear a lot of woodpeckers. I'm using gouache for a little bit here because I don't have any really good yellow in the watercolor. I gotta get more. So I just want to bring this yellow in here. And the app is very cool that way. I love it. And every once in a while it'll hear hawk. Well, I can identify hawk by its sound. So I got a cool hawk story to tell you, by the way. Robin and I went to a blueberry farm one time to pick blueberries. That's what we went there for. And we heard this hawk, like lots of, it's just like very prevalent, the hawk, just all the time. And I know the sound of the hawk, as I say, because of our walks. On our walks, we hear the hawks. Walking, you hear hawks. So I said to Robin, is that real, or is that like a recording of something? Well, my question was answered by taking a little walk into the farthest part of the blueberry farm. Sure enough, there was a speaker up on a pole, and the speaker was playing the sound of a hawk. So I theorized, and in fact I think there was a label on it from the manufacturer, that the whole idea was, instead of using a scarecrow, let's say, they put the sound of a hawk, and then it keeps away the birds that would otherwise might be eating the blueberries. And now I'm using a little bit of blue with that yellow to kind of make it green. So I recorded it so that I could show my son. I wanted him to hear what we heard and to see what we saw. That there's an actual device that plays the sound of hawks to scare away the birds that might eat the seeds. Okay? Again, I'm distracting myself because I'm trying to talk and paint at the same time. So I showed it to him, my son, and he thought that was kind of cool. He had never heard of that before, and I had never heard of it before. Other people I showed it to, though, clearly had heard of it before. A lot of people said, "Oh, yeah, I know that." Well, it was new to me. I didn't really know there was such a thing. And so anyway, I had this idea. I was sitting on the porch. Did I share this with you once before? If I did, I apologize for repeating myself. It's part of getting old, I guess. You repeat yourself a lot. But I was sitting on the porch, and I was watching the squirrels. This is what came to mind, talking about the squirrels. And I was watching the squirrels in the backyard, and I thought, I wonder what would happen if the squirrels heard the sound of the hawk. Well, I had the video of the recording on my phone, and so I got my Bluetooth speaker. Listen to this. I got my Bluetooth speaker. I turned it on, of course. I connected it to my phone. You know how you do that, whatever. Don't ask me. It just works. And I went out to the bushes, and I hid the Bluetooth speaker in the bushes. And then I went back to the porch, and I sat in my comfy chair, and I turned it on. Well, first I waited for the squirrels to come around, because when I walked out there, of course, they all scrambled away. So I was waiting for the squirrels, and then after a while, sure enough, the squirrels come around, and they're foraging through the grass and just enjoying whatever food they can find. And so then I turned it on, and I thought I don't know what you're thinking right now. I don't know if you can figure out what I'm going to say. But I thought maybe they would run away. But they didn't. Do you know what they did? They froze. They froze in one spot. They didn't go anywhere. Isn't that incredible? So, there was my lesson in how animal behavior a little bit, because I didn't know that they would just stop and not go anywhere. Pretty cool. I guess that was their way of protecting themselves, right? To just be done. There's Robin's shadow right there. Trying to do. I'm experimenting a little bit with the colors, by the way. Just trying to dab it around. Get some green in here. Then I'll put the more defined things in here. So, yeah, that's how they protect themselves, I guess. They just freeze, because if they move, and if it was really a hawk, then they would be easily seen if they moved. I guess by staying still, it protects them. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know what else to say about that. All right, this is our trail here we're on. It was a pretty wide trail. Goes back to there. Just gonna have a good time putting these trees in here. There's like a million trees. Yeah, the funny thing is, I'm experimenting with like the oranges and the purples as shadow colors. I think the funny thing is about the paint here, about painting, is that you don't always have to rely on the colors in the reference photo. You can have fun being a little bit daring and pulling things out that the colors, I mean, when I say pulling them out, just try them. Just try some different colors and see what happens. Let's try some of these blues here. Put a little bit of washed out color over here. And then once it dries, I can paint in the figure that is based on Robin. I'm not going to say it's Robin. Yeah, so we do enjoy. We are also bicycling. Now, let me tell you about the bicycling. We don't bicycle a whole lot, and we're definitely not the skilled bicyclists. We have participated in some of the 5K things, but I will tell you, when we do 5K, we don't run. Robin might actually be able to. She's, she kind of dumbs her walk down for me. Is that a good expression? Dumbs it down. She, I'm not that good at that stuff, but she's actually more physically fit than I am. And so she could probably run it, or at least jog it, or at least walk fast. But I have to kind of just walk. But anyway, we did do the 5K a couple times. We came in last, or second to last anyway. The person who came in last was carrying a child on his shoulders. So that's the only person we were faster than. And somebody carrying another person. But hey, it was good. It was for a good cause. You pay money and you walk. You get to meet people. What amazes me about these jogs and these walks and these organized running events and things like that, what amazes me is that the people who are really super good at it they have donuts. They had donuts available for everybody. It was like free donuts. You're gonna run, and before you run, here's a couple of donuts to eat. It's like, what? I thought this was a bad thing, these donuts. I didn't have any because I thought, well, I'm going to be walking. Was it 3.3 miles or 5K? It's 3.3 miles, so I didn't want to be walking with a donut in me. That's kind of funny. Just trying my best to keep this yellow and this green kind of all over the place here. I think the key here is to get the contrast going now. So let's let that dry. And I will paint in, as long as there's, no, I gotta wait for it to dry. The area around Robin is still wet. So I have to let that dry, but I'm gonna use this tiny brush when I get to that point. So in the meantime, I did look for a poem about hiking. And I couldn't find one I liked. There's probably one. Well, there's the Robert Frost one, which says, you know, there were two paths, and I chose this one instead of that one. You know, that one. I think we used that one once before on this channel. I'm kind of liking this. Just messing with it. I mean, the only defined thing really is Robin, and it's not even really Robin. It's just, you know, just the essence of a person hiking. So anyway, I looked for a poem on hiking. Now here's the thing. When you do art, you don't like AI. You don't like artificial intelligence, because I say that, but I know sometimes people use it. If that's your job, if your job is as an illustrator, and it helps you, and artificial intelligence is helping you in some way to get the job done, I don't really see any problem using it as a tool. I'm not very well versed on it. I mean, the only artificial intelligence tool that I have is the one called Chat GPT. And by the way, speaking of artificial intelligence, do you know I've talked about using Fine Art America a lot. And on Fine Art America, the way you get people to find your art is to describe it and to type in some keywords. You know how that works, right? So, and that's always a challenge, you know, to try to think of something to write about your own art. Well, now Fine Art America has this feature where artificial intelligence will look at the picture you upload. I should show you this. I should do a video just on this. Maybe I'll do that later. And it will describe the painting. Now, it doesn't always get it right. It doesn't always get it right. But it's pretty fascinating that this even exists. All right, so what does that have to do with the poem? Because I'm trying to work the picture and talk at the same time. And so, anyway, so what it has to do with the poem was, I was looking for a poem on hiking, thinking there must be one, and I'm sure there are plenty. And if you're a poet, you're gritting your teeth right now with what I'm about to say. Gritting your teeth. I'm not sure if that's the right expression. But anyway, so I went to ChatGPT, not expecting ChatGPT, by the way, to write a poem, but that's what it did. I said, do you know any poems about hiking? And I thought it was going to like reference Robert Frost or somebody. But guess what it did? It wrote a poem. And then I said to ChatGPT, I typed in there, well, I don't really want one that you wrote. I want one that is a published author. And it gave me some. And I don't know if I liked them or not. I probably could have looked further. I could have done more research, but anyway, that's what I did. And I want to read you the poem while I'm waiting for that to dry. It's almost dry. This is what ChatGPT wrote. And The title of the poem is The Trail Beckons. I promise you, I didn't write this. I promise you, ChatGPT did. And if ChatGPT somehow stole somebody else's poem, I don't know. But here's what it wrote. In the hush of morning light, where shadows wane and dreams take flight, the trail unfolds, a winding thread, through forests deep and mountains spread. With every step, a heartbeat's cheer. The world grows quiet, drawing near. Bird song whispers in the trees, a melody upon the breeze. The earth beneath, a soft embrace, with each ascent a gentle grace. Rivers murmur, secrets told, of ancient paths and stories old. The sky above, a canvas wide, painted hues at eventide. Sunlight dances on the leaves, in patterns only nature weaves. Breath by breath, the spirit soars, over valleys, through open doors. The summit calls with silent voice. In its grandeur, we rejoice. Oh my goodness. Sorry, ChatGPT, I'm ruining your poem. One more verse. For in these moments, pure and true, where mountains kiss the skies of blue, the heart finds peace, the soul its home, in nature's arms, no more to roam. That's pretty good. I don't know. Kind of like it. It's kind of hokey, I guess, in a way. I'll be serious. I'll be honest with you. But kind of nice. All right, now let's just give Robin some color here. What did you think of that poem? What do you think of AI writing a poem for me? For this little video here. See, Robin will be darker than her surroundings because she's got her back to the light. Just try to do my best to get her face in there. Very tiny little brush strokes here. Do you hear the birds? Do you hear the crow? The crow outside. The bottom of her jeans have the more deeper shadow. They say if you want to do people and you don't really have a desire to make them look like the person you're painting, which is my idea here. I don't really want this to look like Robin. She's just my model. And they say to do a carrot. Have you ever heard of that? Just paint a carrot. The shape of a carrot. I think that makes sense to me. Because ultimately when you're done, it sort of does look like a carrot. delicate. I feel like I'm doing surgery here. It's so delicate. My goodness. I made it way small. Get this light blue here. Yeah, that was some poem, huh? That's a first for me, getting a computer to actually write a poem. I don't even know what ChatGPT stands for, do you? It's a new world. I tell you this, though, when I was posting digital art, I was using my Procreate app on my iPad. I had people. I'm just going to tell you what they wrote. They said, "Oh, that's just AI crap." They called it AI crap, and I had to defend myself and said, "No, that's not AI. I painted that same as if I was painting with any a brush." And of course, you can't tell anybody anything. They don't like to be told that they're wrong. But they were wrong. I think that's good. That looks like maybe that looks like Robin walking, I guess. I don't know. I'll have other things that happen behind her to accentuate some of these. See, so there she is. I think that looks alright. I think I can make her shadow a little darker. Of course, if her shadow is darker, then all the shadows should be darker. Yeah, I should probably just spread them out a little bit. So, anyway, well, that was the most tedious part of this whole picture, is that little tiny area right there. Okay. So, all right, let me get back to the whole forest here. So once she dries, she's almost dry now. I can add in some of these areas that have pencil marks on them. There we go. Okay. Now that we got Robin painted in there, we can relax and just enjoy the rest of the painting. We got a lot of this stuff still to go. We have little areas here that can come in to look like some of the palms. The way you do palms, I think, with watercolor is you do the negative space. You let the negative space be the palms. Just put the darker area around it. There we go. Alright, now we can smudge this around a little bit. Hope I did that right. I feel like her face needs to be more in the shade. There we go. That little tiny light area right there on her upper leg, that's what gives you the illusion of a leg, I think. It's better than just doing a carrot. I think it's better. Just take a little time and do it. I don't like the advice that I see sometimes on other YouTube channels. I learn a lot from other people, but the one thing I disagree with is the thing to make it quick, to get it done quickly. It's just, I don't understand why you want to get it done quickly. I mean, like I say, unless that's your job, and you have to get the boss a new picture by noon or something like that, maybe. But these little postcards, these little greeting cards, they usually get done within an hour. I'm 34 minutes into this one now, so. All right, now we got that dry. Okay, now we need to start adding some more darkness. Let me see if I have some gouache over here that I can use. What is that color? Let's just fill in some of these dark areas here. It's a combination today of gouache and watercolor. Just trying to pull it in a little bit. And there are leaves in the trail here, so that those leaves are leaving little shadows and stuff. Let me try and get some of them in there before I do any more. Maybe make the shadows a little bit more defined. The one thing that's cool about doing dappled light is that you call it dappled light, we call it dappled light, and that's what it is. But if you really think about it, it's dappled shadows. It's the shadows that are dappled. Unless you're working with acrylic, then I guess you could use, or oil, then I guess you could use white or light yellow on top of things. But in watercolor you have to use dappled shadows. Dappled shadows. It's a new term for me. All right, let's get these low-lying brush areas here in. We have lots of opportunities here to paint in tree limbs and branches. I think the trick is to put them in there lightly and then let them dry. And then you can always add the darker, more prominent one. Just real lightly. lighten some of that up. There we go. Yeah, putting a person into the picture is a little bit of a challenge. Actually doing a whole woods area is a challenge because you got so much going on, and it's not really defined as how do you accomplish this, how do you make it look like trees and the woods, how do you make it look like the woods? Very mixed colors back here. A lot of times, even if you're doing an abstract painting, a lot of times adding a few elements that are vertical, or if your painting is mostly vertical already, then add a few elements that are horizontal, and it really helps with the composition. It's my thinking. It really helps. Yeah, horizontal up against vertical is always kind of a cool little trick. Yeah, I think you can see it now. It's starting to come together. Different areas here. Have to let a lot of light come through, but also a lot of dark. It's kind of a balance. I think you're a plane outside. An airplane. starting to come together, I think. I'll tell you what, though, it's not as beautiful as it was in person. It's not as beautiful. As try as we are, as much as we try as artists, as much as we try to capture the beauty of a place, the beauty of anything, we just don't. Sometimes it looks beautiful, and it's a great way to bring it indoors. And it's a great way to relive it, you know? I think one of the great things about doing art, especially like this, is it has a fond memory that gets re-stimulated. And you're again in that place that you were in some time ago. Okay, now we can make a few of these a little thicker. Maybe coming through here. So this is in Dunnellon, the Dunnellon Trail, or the Dunnellon Pond. It's got an interesting history too. The Dunnellon is known locally as the boomtown of the 1890s because in the 1890s, phosphate mines were a big deal. They were strip mining, you know, to get the phosphate up out of the ground. And the phosphate is what they say is what makes the soil so good for the horses, because somehow that mineral gets into the grass that they eat, and it's what makes the horses' bones, I guess, stronger and better for racing and all that stuff that they do with horses. Healthier, whatever. Yeah, I don't know if you know that this area is considered horse country. They call it the horse capital of the world. I don't know much about horses, but I do like seeing them. I do like seeing them in the mornings. If you drive past a horse farm in the mornings, you'll see them running, especially if there's babies, if there's colts, I guess you call them, right? Is that what a baby horse is, a colt? You'll see them frolicking, and just like young animals are so, just like young people. We're all, it's just amazing. It's like we're so playful when we're young. It's good to be playful. I think doing art is playful. It's kind of a playful activity, don't you think? It's a way to be playful and not really have to move around a whole lot. Yeah, Robin is up in New Jersey right now with her little playful guy, her little grandson. Yeah, I bet you she's wearing him out too. But she's loving every minute of it. Don't you think? Don't you think she's probably loving every minute of it? Yep. That's what happens. If you're blessed to be around children, they don't have to be your own children. I'm an uncle many times more than I am a dad. I'm a dad one time, but I'm an uncle many times. It's a little bit too dark right there. Hiking in the woods. The trail beckons. That's what the GPT poem is called. Yeah. write that off as an experience, getting GPT to write a poem for us. I think what I like about this picture is that it's going to have some light coming through in places. Make that a little bit thicker right there. So when they dug the phosphate mines, this was 1890s, so 1990s would be right 130 years ago or something. So 130 years ago, well, some of those areas that they were strip mining are still noticeable. You can see them, and that's what this trail sort of shows you. To get the phosphate moved across, from where they dug it out of the ground, they used trains. And this trail, I believe, if I remember what the signs, they had signs along the way. The signs gave you some information about the history, and the train lines are where this trail is. So they obviously tore up the tracks and made a trail so that Rob and I could walk on it. He just made it for us. He made a trail just for us. Do you know what I don't like about the trails? I don't like when people ride those electric bicycles. I'm okay with them being electric, that's not the problem, but they don't go slow. Sometimes they just go way too fast, I think. And then you're walking and they'll come up behind you, and you hear them at the last minute, and they'll say on your left, and they'll pass you on your left. I guess that's the code. That's the way of it. And you just move. You just get out of the way. And or you just stay to the right, I guess is the idea. But I don't know, they just go too fast for me. A regular bicycle sometimes is even too fast. Robin and I ride bicycles, and whenever we pass anybody, we always let them know we're coming, but we also slow down. But I'm telling you, some of the people riding the bicycles, they don't slow down. They just expect you to move over. And sometimes there are little kids out there. Those little kids could move over in a heartbeat, and that wouldn't be good. How is this looking? I guess we're starting to get there. Pull some of that up. Just a little bit more detail. A hint of a person there. That person is Robin. How long have we been doing this so far? Oh, it's almost an hour already. I guess this one did take a long time. Well, like I say, just take your time and do it. It's enjoyable doing it anyway. What's the rush? What's the rush? Today, I might do 2 videos because in the mail today, I'm supposed to get the prints from Fine Art America, so I can show you how the cards look like when they're printed. So it'll actually be a first for me. I've had prints from Fine Art America, but I haven't had prints of the cards. And I know it was interesting to you, to a lot of you, just to learn about that. So I ordered some. And I ordered them as a customer, not as like the site guy, not as the merchant, I guess. Yeah, I ordered them as a customer. I just wanted to see what that experience was like for the people who wanted to buy the prints. See, I do these cards. I just do them, and then some or along the way somebody will say, "Oh, such and such is not feeling well, and we would like to send cards." And then the people in the church, they get together and they all send cards. And some of them paint the cards, and Robin and I are 2 of those people that paint cards. Other people, they just buy cards, which is wonderful, you know. But anyway, so a lot of times people will see the cards and they'll say, "Oh, can I have a copy of that?" Well, I should show you what it looks like when you actually go like to Staples and have a copy made, because those are pretty good too, actually. But the reason I like using Fine Art America is because they will send them out. They'll take care of the shipping, they'll take care of the money, they'll take care of all that stuff, and I really like that. That's the real reason. You know, I guess if I'm doing an art show, which I don't do too many of those, but if I'm doing an art show, then I guess I can go get my own, like from Staples or even from Walgreens. You know, you can have some cards made there too. Okay. I think I want this foreground to be a lot darker. I want that to be brilliant in the back, so I'm gonna spread maybe some purple here. Just spread it out a little bit. Yeah, I want this foreground to be darker. Right now, it's more about the composition for me than the subject. I think I'm okay with the subject as it is. I just think the composition could be improved. And that's what I'm doing. Trying to improve the composition by darkening the foreground. Not completely, just enough to offset the back, because I want the back to be what's the dark area. I mean the bright area. that's working. It's working. We're working it. Okay. Yeah, I think if you go walking with me, you're going to end up in a painting somewhere. Somewhere along the way. Or at least in a story. I'll tell the story of us walking. Alright, now let's take some of these in the background and wash them out a little bit. Just pick some of that up. See if I can get some of that white showing through here. Just picking some of the paint up just to make it a little bit more interesting right there. Okay. Whoops, it's a little bit too much. Alright, let me pick some of that up with the big brush. Just to absorb some of it. Alright. I guess that's as good as it's going to get. What do you think? Alright, there's Robin hiking on the trail. Let me dry it off and I'll be right back. Okay, so I dried it, but as I'm looking at it, I feel like there should be either Robin should be darker. Let me see if I can fix the problem. I feel like she's not contrasted enough with the rest of it. She should be much darker than the background, and I don't know that making her darker will do it as much as making the background lighter. So what I think I'll do it's not bad, but it could be better. Ooh, I'm going to try something here. So this is white gouache. I'm going to try to fix it with a little white gouache. Let's hope I don't mess it up too bad. Or should I use yellow gouache? Maybe I should use yellow. I have the yellow out. Here's the yellow. I'm going to use a little, maybe a mixture of yellow and white. I know that sounds crazy because they're both light colors, but I do think I overdid it a little bit. So I'm going to take this white. Let's hope I don't mess it up too bad. Use some yellow here. Just a little bit next to her to kind of define her leg a little bit better. So now I am doing dappled light. Doesn't have to be everywhere on her, just a few places. A few places behind her. Let's see if I can try the white. Yeah, I think just a little bit is helping. A little bit is helping just to kind of define her better. So this is very much in the background here. So there's some light areas in the background that offset her. You can see her. The light is coming through here. Maybe I just overdid a little too much with the darkness. Yeah, I mentioned dappled shadows. Now I am doing dappled light. Absolutely. And I think it helps. Helps a little bit to bring her forward, because I don't want her to be disappeared. I don't want her to disappear into the picture. You know what also, maybe before I wrap it up, as long as I'm messing with gouache, yeah, I kind of like the way that's looking. I like the way that's looking. So as long as I'm messing with gouache, I can go ahead and use some little tiny dabs to accentuate some of this light here. And maybe even some of these little tiny leaves that are in the roadway here. They're reflecting light also. Gives it more texture anyway. Yeah, this is a good idea. See, I wasn't done. The funny thing is, sometimes when I do these videos, I touch them up after the camera is off, because I don't see what needs to be done right away. I end up working it later on, and then you guys don't get to see exactly everything I did. And it's not my intent. My intent has always been to show you everything. But I think in this case, I noticed it right away that it wasn't. She wasn't. I couldn't see Robin very well in there. Yeah, it's not even fair to say that looks like Robin. It doesn't look like Robin at all. Robin is just my model here. She's my best friend, and she's my model. I did a picture. I've done some portraits of Robin, actually, that do look like her. So it's not like I never paint Robin. I do. Oh, this is coming up pretty nice. I like the way these little yellow and white highlights here. I like the way they kind of accentuate the foreground, give it more of a woodsy look. You know? So now you definitely can see Robin walking through the woods. So right now I'm using gouache almost as if it was acrylic paint. I'm really not using any watercolor techniques. And again, this is something, mixed media is a wonderful opportunity. You can mix pencil with paint, you can mix ink with paint, you can mix, it's probably not a good idea to mix oil and acrylic, but you can even paste things on, so mixed media is nothing wrong with it. However, I always throw this in there because I remember a competition that I was reading about. I didn't do anything with this one, but some people were disqualified because they had mixed media, and it was a watercolor contest or competition. And they were all bummed out because their artwork wasn't accepted because it was a mixture of watercolor and gouache. And so I said, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know the rules, I guess, of some of these contests. So if you're entering a competition, just keep in mind that the rules are there, and you can't submit something that's mixed media. That's the bottom line right there. You know what I think I might do too? Maybe there's a few leaves up here that are catching the light too. There's a few areas up here that are capturing the light. Use the yellow here. I kind of like this. This is kind of helping to bring the picture to life, isn't it? You thought I was done, didn't you? I thought I was done. Is it possible? In the picture I'm using, the reference photo, there's no red at all. But I'm thinking, what if I added a little bit of like wildflowers in here? Just growing along the side here. I think that's what I'll do. Let me take which color do you think I should use? How about this purple? the purple. I'm going to put some purple flowers along the walkway. It's called Rose. It's called Rose. All right, a little bit of rose coming right up. Well, that's interesting. It's called Rose, like as if it's a flower, and that's what I want to do. I want to put some flowers into this picture. What the heck? Why not? Just put a few dots here and there. Just add a little bit of red. Maybe they're just growing along the side of the path of the trail. Let me mix it with some white so I can lighten it. It's a little bit dark. So it's kind of like a pink now. There we go. Now we got some flowers growing, some wildflowers. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is making it look nice. Well, there we go. It's a completely different composition. Well, not completely different, but it's different enough. That makes me... Yeah, let's put some white flowers in there since I was originally using that white as the leaves, but I'll go ahead and make them flowers. Maybe there's a few back here too. There's still tiny little dots. There we go. Now we got Robin walking in the woods with its flowers. It's got a new name. Alright, that paint is all wet on the bottom. Let me turn off the camera one more time and dry it. I'll be right back. Okay. And now let's fold it. Make it a card. Let's make it a greeting card. Right there on that scored part of the card. You can score your own paper, by the way. There's a way to do that. But I buy them. So there we go. There's Robin walking. Somebody walking. And it looks like a beautiful day to take a walk. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. For your nice comments. I think I'm happy with this one today. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.